Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn. Many of us who fly our drones recreationally would love to make a little money on the side with our fancy little drones. This video might give you some interesting ideas in that regard. Please welcome Gordon Koll, who has augmented his already very successful home inspection business through the use of drones. Hi, Gord. How are you today?
Good, Don. How are you?
Terrific. So tell me about your business.
Well, I'm a building inspector. I inspect primarily residential properties in rural Alberta and some commercial buildings as well. I've inspected hockey rinks and churches and a variety of houses and acreages, a number of farms. So it's a pretty interesting scope of inspecting, various types of buildings. So.
That is really cool. And how did you get into that?
Well, I'm by trade a carpenter, and I've always had a love for the building industry. And I did have a number of decades in the corporate life. And as I retired from that world, I decided I wanted to still continue to work, maybe not full time, but definitely on my own. And I decided to get into doing some inspections.
Oh, very cool.
It's been a great experience. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so at some point you must have figured a drone might help. Can you tell us?
Yeah, when I started doing the research on the industry and really what was going on in the industry, and I wanted to have a process that could provide a complete inspection of the building, which includes the roof. Mm-hmm. And in today's world, with all the regulations and a WCB, and this primarily from the safety aspect, how can you inspect a roof efficiently? I honestly had looked at hauling around a portable man lift in order to inspect a roof, but even still, that was not practical, right?
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Run a man lift on somebody's front lawn and have a look at their roof. But anyways, I started looking at drones. I'm not sure where I caught onto it, but on YouTube someplace, I thought it was cool. I think it was the first Mavic Pro that I saw that just amazed me of the technology, and I really thought I could maybe incorporate that into my business, which I have very successfully. So
fantastic. What drone do you fly now?
I have two that I use. I use the DJI Mavic Mini 2 for some areas, and I also have the Autel Evo 2 Pro, which which has a the 8 times zoom on it, which is and the 6K camera, which is very good for inspections.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, a 6K camera would be just unbelievable.
Yeah, and you don't lose the resolution like you do on a 4K. So
yeah, fantastic machine to be using. That's very cool. So what sorts of things do you do with your drone? You're inspecting the roof. What kind of things are you looking for?
Well, when you fly up and you can get a bird's eye picture of the roof, the entire roof, it tells you a lot about how that roof is performing. You can identify, for example, in the wintertime, you can identify hot spots, flashing issues. The best roof in the wintertime is one that has a nice even snow cover on it. There are some limitations, but the limitations, the benefits outweigh the limitations for sure. You can't really identify the true condition of the roof coverings per se, but you got a pretty good idea on the age of the home, and usually from there's usually some areas that you can see the roof coverings.
Sure, yeah,
a little different than summer, summer inspection. So. But when you're looking at it in the summertime, you're not able to see how that roof is performing in cold weather. Right?
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. So it has its pros and cons. The winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
What sort of weird things have you ever encountered? What's the strangest thing you've seen with your drone?
Well, I guess the strangest thing, I pulled up to a home to perform an inspection on it, and as I pulled up, I saw all these shingles on the front lawn,
Oh,
and I go, oh, something is not right here. So I flew up, had a look at the roof, and this roof looked in great condition, and I figured I better check the neighbor's roof, and half the peak of the neighbor's roof was gone. So
oops.
yeah, something happened there, and I did let the neighbor know, but he was already aware of it, and was going to have the roof repaired. So,
Oh,
but
very
it was
good.
quite it was the puzzle was solved very easily with the drone. So
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it'd be like, I just haven't found the spot is
yeah.
missing the shingles. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing, I do have to comment on when you're using the drone, as long as you're flying with the right regulations, and it's a much safer, a more in-depth way of inspecting a roof, right? Um, you know, uh, it's one thing to go up on a roof to inspect it, but when you're doing that, you have to be careful of your footings. You can't always see the areas that you need, but the drone provides so much more value to your clients in order to see what they need to see in order to make that decision to buy that home. So
Yes, and you can provide them with pictures, whereas a
absolutely,
guy up on a roof, can't really get
yeah.
a good
Well, you
bird's
get
eye view.
you get the basics for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, that is really really cool. So you mentioned flying within the regulations. Um, you're located what, just west of Edmonton, is that right?
Yes, just west of Edmonton.
Yeah. So what sorts of issues do you encounter from a regulatory perspective?
Well, just in your no-fly zones, and controlled airspace, that type of thing. You have to be aware of that, and I follow the regulations. Um, so it's all about safe flying, and
Right.
and when you're inspecting a roof with your drone, it doesn't take very long, at the very most maybe 10 minutes. So you just go up and do your work and come down, right?
Right.
If you want to play around with your drone, do that when you're in open airspace and you can have some fun with it, eh? But you're there to do a job, and the drone is there to do a job, and you just it doesn't take long to do a roof inspection with the drone, and you just go up, do it, and uh, and land your drone, and away you go.
Fantastic. I'm obligated to ask if you use any particular tools or apps
Oh
to check the
yeah,
airspace.
yeah, Don. I'm quite a fan of your channel, and I use all of your tools, and and your app is quite well. It's beyond good. It's very good. It's amazing, quite frankly. So
Oh,
something
thank
that
you.
we need in Canada. Something that we need in Canada. And the work that you are doing for all of us is outstanding. Thank
Oh,
you.
well, thank you very much. That means a lot to hear. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. So when you're using Drone Pilot Canada, or just thinking about your day, um, well, how does a typical day look for Gord? Like, do you wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I wish I had some work today"?
Yeah, no, not that's usually not the case. I I'm a early riser, and I do my schedule is fairly hectic, and I do have an assistant that helps me with all my bookings and so on. So as far as the first thing I do is do a bit of research, due diligence on the property I'm inspecting. So I have a background, some background information on it.
Yeah.
I check. The area, and the flight requirements that are required in order to fly in that area, and do all that preliminary work before you're even on site, right? And
Right.
there are some cases where you just you may have to use other technologies in order to get to achieve, but you're better off being prepared than not, right? So if you go in there ahead of time, being prepared, then and that's one of your best assets that you can have with you, right?
Right. So you know what hazards there might be, what
Absolutely.
other strange buildings
Yeah,
or
yeah,
wires or
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It's yeah, you it's best to be prepared and know in advance how you're going to attack the building from an inspection point of view, right? And
Right.
come up with a plan, right? And have a plan. And it's things when you have to kind of expect the unexpected, and things do go sideways sometimes. But it's a lot better when you have a plan in place.
Right.
And they're no different than.
Have you had any incidents that you would like to share?
Well, there is one inspection that I had that went a little bit sideways, where I was using my thermal camera in order to do an assessment of the home. This was in the wintertime. And the young couple that was buying it, she was very, very much pregnant. And at the time, she was watching me work my thermal camera, and here she asked me if I could thermal her stomach to see her baby. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but it was pretty interesting. She was, I swear, she was going to have the baby during the inspection. She was very much overdue.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
Very cool. So, like you said, you've got your thermal camera, you've got your drone. So you're using the drone as, I'll say, just one tool in the toolkit of your overall business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I treat it. The drone is I have a base business, which is the inspection business. And the drone is just another aspect of my inspection. And no different than a thermal camera or a moisture meter or flow meter or anything like that. Right. And I've encompassed all these technologies, under a business that is a very mature industry, and taking it to a new level, utilizing a lot of technology in my inspection process, and it's become very valuable. And as you add more value to what you provide, you become in demand without doing little advertising. And referral business and word of mouth is in an inspection business is very good.
Absolutely, yeah. In any business, really.
In any business, for that matter. That's right.
Exactly. So, what sort of advice would you give to someone who has their drone and they want to make a little bit of money, maybe in roof inspections? What would be the process that they should be thinking?
So you have to be honest with yourself, and you got to understand your own strengths and weaknesses, and depending on where you want to go with, for example, a drone business. If you've bought a drone and you want to make some money with it, there's a number of revenue or areas that you can provide that information. You can do roof inspections. You can do insurance inspections, utilizing software to identify hail damage and a number of areas like that. You can do roof measuring services, which is an up and coming service where you can provide
and there's tools for that.
Detailed measurements for roofs, both on a commercial level and on a residential level. Our technology is changing rapidly, and you're seeing more commercial buildings installing solar panels on roofs, and providing a bird's eye picture of that roof with detailed measurements is invaluable for the planning process of installing that equipment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can decide. You have to be, like I said, you have to be honest with yourself and commit to the process and follow through with it, and get the necessary training and necessary credentials in order to promote yourself. And don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Sometimes it's a bigger a challenge just to spend some money on yourself and take the proper courses and just go out there and you're going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic advice, Gord. And With that, why don't I say thank you for your time and your advice and your with sharing some of the details and fun experiences you've had with your business. So thank you again, and all the best in the
Yeah.
upcoming year.
Oh, Don, you're very welcome, and thank you for all your passion in our drone quest to be better all the time. So that's great.